to get a drink of water. The back of my throat is really dry for some reason. I don't know why. I gotta get my boards wet. me tell you a story about Brunswick. Hamlin towns in Brunswick, by famous Hanover City. The River Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my duty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so, which vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cooks' own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. Alas, the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor is a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking, to think we buy gowns lined with ermine, for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking, to find the remedy where we are lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this the mayor and corporation quaked in mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. "For a guilder eyed my ermine gown sell, I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap." Just he said this, what should happen? At the chamber door, but a gentle tap. "Bless us," cried the mayor, "what's that?" With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wonder as fat. Nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. "Come in," cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek, nor beard on chin, but lips or smile without an in. There was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in this quaint attire. Quoth one, "It's as my great-grandsire, starting up with a trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone." He advanced towards the council table, and "Please, your honor," said he, "I am able, by means of secret charm to draw, all the creatures living beneath the sun, that crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper." And here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat of self-same check, and at scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. "Yes," said he, "Pied Piper as I am, in Tartary I fred the cam, last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I eased and aged the nizam of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?" 50,000 was the exclamation, an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street Piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adapted flow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered. The muttering grew to a grumbling, the grumbling grew to a mighty grumbling. Out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, bean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, till they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to Rat Land home his commentary. which was, at first shrill notes up the pipe. I heard a sound as a scraping tripe, and putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses bright, and a moving away of pickle tub boards, and leaving a jar of conserve cupboards, and drawing the corks of train oil flasks, and breaking loose butter casks. It seemed as if some voice, sweeter far than by harped by solar whose grief, called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast rice salty. So munch on, crunch on, take your lunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just that bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just me thought it said come bore me, I found the west rolling over me." You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells as they rock the steeple. "Go," cried the mayor, "get long poles, poke out the nests and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats." When suddenly up the face of the piper perked in the marketplace, the first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders. The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too, for council dinners made rare havoc with claret, Moselle, Vin de Gras, Hawk, and half the money would replenish their seller's biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, a gypsy coat of red and yellow. "Besides," quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, "our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with their eyes the vermin sink, and what's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folk to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your poke, but as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, wasn't joke. Besides, your losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. The piper's face fell and he cried, "No trifling, I can't wait beside. I promise a visit by dinner time, Baghdad, and accept the prime of the head cook's pottage. All he's rich in, for having left in the caliph's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions no survivor. With him I proved no bargain driver. With you don't think I'll bait a stiver. And folks who put me in a passion may find me pipe after another fashion." "How," cried the mayor, "do you think I brook being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a rival, with idle pipe and vesture piebald? Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe through till you burst." Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe with smooth straight cane. And ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musicians cunning never gave the enraptured air. There was a rustling and seemed like a bustling, a merry crowds dusting and pitching and hustling, small feet pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, little tongues chattering, like foals in a farmyard barley is scattering. O came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping around merrily after. The wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb when the council stood, as if they're changed into blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by. Could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosoms beat as the piper turned from High Street to where the Wester rolled its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. How he returned from south to west, and to Copperberg Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never crossed the mighty top, he's forced to let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced, and the children followed. When all were in to the very last, the door in the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No, one was lame, and could not dance the whole of the way. And in after years, if you'd blame his sadness, he was used to say, "It's dull in our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town in just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, flowers of forth fairer hue, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was bright and the peacock here, and their dogs that ran our fellow deer, honeybees that lost their stings, horses were born with eagle's wings, and just as I became assured, my lame coat was sweetly cured. Music stopped, and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more." Alas, alas for Hamelin, there came into many a burgher's pate a text which says at heaven's gate, opes the rich at his easy rate, as a needle's eye takes a camel away. The mayor said east, west, north, and south, talked to the piper by word of mouth, wherever it was men's lot to find him, silver and gold for his heart's content, if only he returned the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when they saw it was lost endeavor, the piper and dancers were gone forever, he made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month near, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, in the better memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper Street. For anyone playing Piper Tabor was sure for his future lose his labor, nor suffered they hostelry or tavern, shop with mirth the street so solemn. And opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, the same to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not admit to say, in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison, into which they were Japan, a long time ago in a mighty band, out of Hamlin towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers of scores out with all men, especially pipers. And if they should pipe us free from rats and from mice, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise. Morning. Good morning. Tell you another story. There once was a young man named Roland Pye who played the recorder when he wasn't baking bagels. One day he was walking through the park to rest a while, playing his recorder to rest a while from all his baking, when suddenly spied a corpse lying on the ground beneath the swarm of flies. He put down his recorder, walked over to the corpse, shooed the flies away, and covered the dead man with stones. Returning to his oven later that day, he found that his oven blade had gone on by itself and already baked half the bagels he needed. From that day on, Roland Pye was the happiest baker alive. He'd bake until he was tired, and he'd pull his recorder up while his oven blade went on by itself. But Roland Pye lived in a town whose mayor did not admire his skill and was jealous of his fame. So the mayor devised a plan to rid the town of Roland. In the beginning, he said that Roland was a good worker, but lazy. Next, he said that Roland baked a whole lot, but badly. Then he accused Roland of being a sorcerer, and the people turned on him. Therefore, Roland Pye took the recorder and left his home behind. When Roland Pye came to a neighboring town, he went to all the business owners, but none of them would give him any work. Finally, he met an old buster and asked for work to keep body and mind together. "Come along with me," said the old man, "and we will share alms." So Roland Pye, the old man, started going around and singing. "Baker, why do you bear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves you well, although it is golden and good for her health. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to cream. Your limbs are the knots that cord an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the rings and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for a thing that is yours. You are a baker, and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are." Everybody gave alms the old man. "Roland," they said, "what is a young man like you out begging? Why don't you work for a living? Nobody will hire me, replied Roland Pie. That's what you say. There's a king with so many hungry soldiers that he'll pay good wages to anyone willing to feed them. So Roland Pie went to the king's kitchen and took the old man whose alms he'd been sharing. The oven had never been used by anyone. Roland mixed the dough, then he rolled it into rings, then he boiled them, dressed them with seeds, and baked them until they're golden brown. Then he tossed them until they're cold. Then he tossed them into a crate to cool down. Whenever Roland wearied of baking, he'd play his recorder. And once he was weary of playing his recorder, he'd sing, Baker, why do you bear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves her well, although it's golden, good for hell. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to preen. Your limbs are the knots and cords of an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the rings and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for a thing that is yours. You are a baker and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are. Hearing the singing, a princess looked out the window. She saw Roland Pie and fell in love with him. But she was a princess and he a baker. The king would never consent to their marriage. So they decided to run away together. They fled at night in a boat. When they were already on the high seas, Roland remembered the busker. He said to his beloved, We must fetch the old man. Since he shared his alms with me, we can't go off and leave him like that. At that very moment, the old man came up behind the boat, walking on the water as though it had been dry land. Reaching the boat, he said, We agreed to divide everything we had, and I shared everything I own. Now you have the king's daughter, and must give half of her to me. At this he gave Roland Pie a knife to cut his bride in two. Roland Pie took the knife with a trembling hand. You are right, he said. You are perfectly right. He was on the point of cutting his bride in two, when suddenly the old man stopped him. Stop! I knew you were a just man. I'm the dead man, mind you, whom you covered with stones. Go now, and may the two of you always be happy. At this, the old man walked away on the waves. The boat came to an island rich in all good things, and a princely palace awaiting the newlyweds. The end. That was a story I call Roland Pie and the Oven Blade. Let's put another batch in the water. With hot water. I forgot to do something. I'm gonna have to. I need to use my phone for a second here. So I'm gonna let me see if this will work.